I feared a rigid examination could pour a bad light on our city and be injurious to its reputation. However, I could not remain silent. There are always higher courts.
And there are courts below in the here and now, Mrs. Oliver, who would lock you away for these lies.
What?
The people were passing through the toll in a quiet and polite manner. There was no pushing or shoving. There was no dispute.
They were happy. Mr. Tanner laughed along with them. Him happy? He's as miserable as sin. Always have been.
I'm a good husband and a good father, madam. Where's your husband, madam?
Mr. Tanner, please.
Well, it's true. I was kept busy that day. But not so busy as to render me unable to take the toll.
Ask him about the bull! My husband kept an orderly toll that day. He was polite, courteous in his dealings with the mob. Most angelic.
The bull on the bridge! The bull on the bridge! Remember? I was there. I was by the gate and I pleaded with this man. Mr. Tanner, please open the gate. I will pay anything.
And all the time the people pressed against his back as they crowded on the bridge. But Tanner had shut the gates.
Mr. Tanner, had you shut the gate?
No, sir.
What about the sign you put up, Tanner, drawing the crowds to the bridge? Put up quite without authority, it appears. My husband suffers from tremors of the heart, sir, and should not be subjected to this. He is a good man.
Ask him about the bull. Ask him about the bull.
The bull, Mr. Tanner. What about the escaped bull?
What bull, sir?
No, sir, you will not. Then I will.
This is John Gale, a reporter with the Bath Journal.
You need not mention the bull, sir. It's a past matter.
It was a Monday morning, 2 years back. A number of bulls had been bottled up in Wyatt's yard, waiting to be slaughtered. One of them had escaped and ran around town for a bit, gathering a jolly crowd in its wake.
Policemen, butcher boys, porters, dogs barking, children larking.
Up flew the windows as it passed.
This story is a trifle of a thing, of no importance here.
The demented beast careered across Kingsmead Square and along James Street towards the station. I heard a bystander shout after a chasing policeman.
Do you mean to run him in?
The policeman stopped and walloped him over the head.
Clearly a case where the move on now principle did not apply. I said clearly a case. Oh no.
I wasn't at the bridge that day.
Under the railway arches and out the other side onto the Halfpenny Bridge, it bolted like lightning. Or Brunel's Leviathan. I wrote about it at the time, you might have read it. One mightily infatuated bull and a mass of people out for a lark.
I wasn't there that day.
Ah, but your wife was, Mr. Tanner, your wife was.
Stop the crowd, missus!
Shouted the leading butcher.
Sorry we can't stop to pay.
Do you remember that, Mrs. Tanner?
None of them stopped to pay. None of those buggers stopped to pay. Must have lost near £3 that day. This is not a free toll, they shouted. Do you know what they said? You've done well for yourself today, missus. You've done well for yourself. I'll do well by you, I thought. I'll do very well by you. I spoke to my husband about it. This was not to happen again.
Well, my wife maid
Tanner!
insisted I put the gate soon after.
No one was going to pass through the toll without paying.
No.
Ever again.
So, that gate was shut. And at the end of the day, 11 people had fallen to their deaths. Am I right? Well?
I think it's time for a hero to step forward.
On hearing the news of the collapse, we raced to the scene.
All before us lay a frightful sight.
Men, women and children were fighting and struggling in the water.
Shrieking like beasts.
And then, as if by a miracle, they all quieted.
It was then that we saw the soldier. The brave soldier, swimming among the strugglers, encouraging displays of charity on all sides.
Stay calm, he shouted. Stay calm and you'll all be saved.
Well, step forward, that hero.
We were beginning to despair of the rescue boat turning over for the crowds that were clambering up the sides. But suddenly we heard his shout from amongst the struggling crowds.
Rally to me! Rally to me! God will preserve us if we help ourselves. You will all be saved.
He carried me from the water in his arms, held me so manfully he did. Oh, so dashing in red, so manly.
He stayed by my side for a very long time, held my hand for a full half hour. Oh. But you are mistaken, Missy. He wore a blue tunic.
Red.
Blue.
Red.
Ladies, please, yes. The soldier showed gallantry to all, but more importantly, he was seen talking to Mr. Tanner soon after the accident happened. Got it straight from the horse's mouth, as it were. Is this not so, Corporal?
I don't know what charm this soldier held over us, but we instantly stopped struggling and looked towards his leadership.
The crowds who had gathered on the far bank set up a loud shout.
Hurrah! I was so overcome by this man's gallant conduct that tears welled in my eyes.
The soldier went over to speak to Mr. Tanner to get a first-hand account from the tollkeeper over what happened at the gate.
It were as if this soldier were heaven sent. The sight of this hero swimming amongst them settled the poor people, and we were able to pull them swiftly to safety.
I pushed my way through the crowds to get to him, but he was gone. Back in the water, back to his rescuing. I would catch up with him later on, I thought. But I never did.
At the end of the day, my two sons went out to search for the man, but he was never found. I pray God he is safe.
The days passed into weeks, and the weeks passed into months. And the next I heard of him, he had moved with his regiment to faraway lands. And then I heard no more of him until the following year, 1878. He had been sent to Afghanistan, died of a fever in a field hospital near Jalalabad. Along with 7 others from his company, he had vanished from the face of the earth. So, there it was.
It seems that the mysterious young lady lying dead at Whitcomb was not respectably connected, as I had erroneously assumed. Well, how was I to know? How appearances do deceive us. Her fine apparel, a faux pas. She was not respectably connected. In fact, she was not connected at all. She was little more than a shoemaker's daughter from Weymouth. Her father had become separated from her on the bridge. He lay 2 miles away with the remainder of the dead at the local hospital. They had perished together.
Across the bridge lies turtle soup, and sherbet pips, and pear drops, and prize bulls, and dog carts, and the beer flows forever.